these days you're not allowed to bully young kids when they come into the team. You got to be nice to them, and even no matter how weird they are. So yeah, it was a bit different back then.
This is the first one.
Yep, looking a lot better than Bolty was in his old photos. Yeah, I reckon that would be 2006, maybe 7. Obviously Lockie Ferguson and myself having a bit of a fast bowling competition. There used to be a thing back in New Zealand where the schoolboys would all sort of compete to bowl the fastest, and yeah, I got him. It was about the last time I bowled quicker than him, to be fair, so he's obviously got me covered pretty well now.
That's amazing, because Trent Bolt, one of the pictures I had of him was when he just won that competition. I think, I think he said he won it by bowling 127 clicks. Would you remember what you bowled to win it?
Maybe like mid 130s, 135.
So way quicker than Trent Bolt.
Way quicker than Trent Bolt. Yeah, way quicker than Trent Bolt.
And quicker than Lockie Ferguson.
Yeah.
Now that is something.
Yeah, I was a year older, to be fair. He would have been 15 and I was 16 maybe. So at that age, that's a big gap. So yeah, always held it against him, to be fair, in the nets. But no, I think he's, yeah, as I said before, he's got me covered now pretty comfortably.
In some ways it looks, looking on, because New Zealand is a smaller place and you have these pockets of strong producers of cricketers. Is it very much that it was kind of all of you growing up together and then going through together?
Yeah, I mean, it was really. I think, you know, you have your regional tournaments and stuff where Auckland plays against Northern Districts and, you know, Central District and stuff. That kind of kicks off, I think, under 14s maybe is the youngest age group for that. So, yeah, I remember obviously playing against guys like Kane Williamson and playing with guys like Ish Sodhi and other guys around the tracks for Auckland, and Lockie obviously, we went to the same school. So, yeah, it's been pretty cool over the last, I suppose, 10 or 15 years to grow old with those guys and go from being baby-faced youngsters, and, you know, guys have got, you know, kids and wives and stuff now, and it was sort of coming to the end, and it's been a pretty cool journey.
Can you remember how it started? Like, what's your earliest memory?
I mean, I was just a sporty kid, I guess. You know, my parents were both quite sporty, and when I was a kid I just played everything, and you know, rugby's obviously a big part of New Zealand culture, so I played that in the winter, and then sort of basketball and cricket and that kind of stuff in the summer, and I don't really, you know, remember being that much, you know, better than anyone else, I guess. I think it was just playing for fun, and then obviously you get to 16, 17, 18 and you start to sort of notice, I guess, the professional aspect of the game, and yeah, I think I pretty much started playing for Auckland more or less straight out of school, and yeah, never really looked back.
Did you have a favourite cricketer as a kid, or someone that you tried to bowl like or bat like?
Yeah, probably Chris Cairns, I think. As a youngster in the early 2000s, I think he was pretty cool. The other guys around the world like Andrew Flintoff and Shane Warne, obviously. Yeah, pretty much the same kind of idols that a lot of kids, I guess, have at that kind of age.
And tell me what you're doing right here.
Yeah, that's the same competition, I think. I'm not sure about the thumb position on that ball. I've worked on that since then. It looks like I'm about to bowl a slow ball in a fast bowling comp, but yeah, that's the Auckland Grammar Lion on the front of the chest there. So yeah, about to let one go at about 135, I reckon.
Is that photo proof that you've always had magnificent hair?
I suppose so. It's always easy. Your hair looks good when you're running forwards, doesn't it? Because everything kind of, you know, shakes back. But yeah, I would imagine in those days I would have got a fresh trim for that, knowing there'd be a few cameras around.
Where this was, how old you were, what was this one?
That will be after the HIV Cup final, which was our T20 competition, before the Super Smash. That would be late January, early February 2010. We had our Under 19 World Cup January 2010, and then I flew straight from there. Basically, that was the final. Auckland versus Central Districts at Pukakura Park. Played the final and we lost, obviously. And yeah, looking pretty disappointed after my first effort at professional cricket. Came up against Ross Taylor on a small ground, unfortunately, which is not that easy for a 18, 19-year-old.
And that was your first professional game?
Yep. I remember, I think I went, my first over, I went 1.1, I think. And then Ross slog swept me 3 times into the stands, 6-6-6, went for 20 off my first over. So that was a bit of a rude awakening. And then, yeah, they got plenty batting first and we fell short chasing, I think. I managed to get a couple out of the middle, which was nice, but yeah, not great to start your first professional game as a losing finalist, but no, we've won a couple since then, which is good.
You mentioned that Under-19s World Cup. How important was that, I guess, for you in your young career life? We've
spent the last 15 years with all those same people from that team. Doug Bracewell's down the road at Joburg, he was in that team. Tom Latham, who I've obviously played a truckload of cricket with. Guys like Ben Wheeler, Bevan Small, Logan van Beek, who's obviously playing for Netherlands now and Wellington. Yeah, it was an incredible team. Unfortunately, we got it wrong against Australia in the quarterfinal. We thought it was going to rain. Tried to slog to get up to Duckworth Lewis, ended up getting bowled out about 30 or 40 short, maybe a little bit more than that. So yeah, we had a promising team, but yeah, those kind of tournaments, I suppose it teaches you, knockout tournaments, as we've found out since. Yeah, you get things slightly wrong on the day and that's your tournament done. So yeah, it was still a pretty cool experience. I didn't bowl much. I think I nicked Joe Root off maybe in the last game.
He's just down the road as well.
He's just down the road at Powell as well. Yeah, Josh Butler was in the England team as well. James Vince. Yeah, there's plenty of guys that we've seen a lot of since then.
What were you like as a teenager? What sort of personality were you?
Coaches weren't that fond of it. I was pretty, I suppose, loud. It's a strange thing when you come into professional sport as like an 18-year-old or 19-year-old where you're playing with adults and they've got kids and you're kind of a kid yourself living at home, and it can be a strange dynamic and it can be quite difficult to kind of find out how to fit in. And I think I probably tried to be a bit more outgoing and a bit loud and that kind of thing, which rubbed a few of the old guys up the wrong way. These days you're not allowed to bully young kids when they come into the team. You gotta be nice to them, and even no matter how weird they are. So yeah, it was a bit different back then. Guys like Andre Adams and Kyle Mills, who I'm good friends with now, Daryl Tuffy, Gareth Hopkins, these guys that have been around a long time, probably weren't all that fond of a young kid coming in trying to crack jokes, but it all worked out in the end.
So if you could go back and talk to yourself as a young kid about to go off to a World Cup and about to start playing professional cricket for the first time, what bit of advice would you give him?
It's a great question. I'd probably say that everyone is going to try and help with cricket. Coach is going to give advice, your family is going to give advice, all this kind of thing. And even though it comes from a good space, I think it's probably more harmful than helpful a lot of the time. I think the most important thing is to have a real clarity around what you do and how you play the game. And you're going to be in so many different teams with so many different coaches and so many different environments that if you're relying on other people to tell you where your backlift should be or what your feet should do or that kind of thing, you're just going to end up going in circles. So yeah, be your own best coach, know your own game better than anyone else, and trust your own instincts.
Sounds like very, very good advice to me. How much are you enjoying your present life right now, where it is in South Africa?
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's probably my favourite time of year, I think. Third season now for Pretoria, and we've got a really tight-knit unit, a bunch of great guys. I know everyone says that about every team, but we really enjoy ourselves, and we've had a lot of success over the last couple of years, barring the fact that only about 6 of us make it to the end of the tournament each year fit. We've been doing really well and really enjoy the results we've had over here, and obviously started well again this year, so hopefully we can keep that going. I'm Jimmy Neesham, and now I'm a Pretoria Capitals player.